Starting a class in Aramaic also in the fall, the language that Jesus spoke. And I'll talk a little, well, I'm going to actually talk about some of that in this next few minutes. Along that line, there are words, as with many languages, there are words that have no English equivalent. And translators aren't going to admit that to you. They're not even going to tell you that. They're going to make up words, English words, that fit, and they miss it. You know, remember Kermit the Frog in a song about rainbows? I guess Paul Williams wrote the song, but in the song it said, what is it? Who said that one? Who says if one wishes upon, or one wish will be heard and answered if you wish upon the morning star? Somebody thought of it. Somebody believed it. And look what it's done so far. What a vivid description of many of these words in Hebrew. Because Hebrew is a dead language. Modern Hebrew is really not Hebrew. It uses the same script, it uses the same grammar, but they have over 1 million words. As I said yesterday, it's, not even a Semitic language anymore. You're down to 7,500 words, and many of those words, their meanings have been lost. And only tradition can lead you to an understanding what those words are. And you know about tradition. Sometimes tradition can get really wild. I did my doctoral dissertation on esoteric structure of the Hebrew alphabet, and I wanted to present a new form of study for Christianity. The idea of a PhD is you got to do something different. Nobody else did. So I was going to research and come up with this method of Bible study, translating letter by letter. Well, advisors would not allow that. No, that's mystical. You can't do that. So I had to do it in a historical way. This is the way the Jews used to use the meanings behind Hebrew letters. But Laura pinned a term, a built-in commentary. And that's what we teach on our all-access site, is teaching you to translate letter by letter, because every letter has a certain meaning. For instance, the word halal is the word for praise. What's praise? We got all sorts of definitions for praise, honoring and so forth. But the letters will also teach you what the ancient, I believe, and I could be wrong. I got to stay true to the academic stuff, I guess. But I honestly believe God created the Hebrew language and had a built-in commentary to help you understand what was in the minds of the ancient man when they wrote it. What was in the mind of God when he inspired it? So you got the word, it's spelt with a hey. And the sages teach that, hey, God created the world with a hey, with his breath, his presence. Hey represents the presence of God. Then it's followed by 2 lamets. The lamet is like a hand raising up to heaven. It's got a little bump in it representing your heart. And you reach up to heaven, expressing your heart up to God. And then you've got your other hand raised, and God returns with an expression of his heart to your heart. Praise is 2 hands lifted to heaven, receiving the presence of God. Prayer, pa'al, is pei, lamet, lamet. The pei is your mouth. You speak verbally with 2 lamets. Thus, prayer is 2 uplifted hands, speaking your heart to God. That's the idea behind that built-in commentary. And that's what we teach, and it's in my book, Learning God's Love Language, is that God did embed in the Hebrew language a little commentary where we can actually go back in time and wade through all that tradition and find out what the root idea is. But there are many possible variations to these meanings behind letters. And as I was sharing with Terry here earlier, God is a personal God. He created 6 billion people, and not any two of them are identical. Can you imagine that? He did not make, out of 6 billion people, no two are identical. Doesn't it stand to reason? Why didn't he create us all alike? Why didn't he have duplicates? If he wanted everybody to praise God and worship God the same way, he'd created everybody to look alike and be alike. But he created each one with their own personality, their own, And then, if you're into quantum physics, I believe each one of us has our own universe that we live in, and God lives in us in that little universe. We interact with the rest of all the others in the universe, but it's God and I in that universe. And he's not worried about what's going on in the next universe because he's omnipresent. He doesn't live in time. So he's living in your universe, right there with you, 24 hours a day. Well, he's with me 24 hours a day because he doesn't have to worry. He's not worried. Uh-oh, there she is. I gotta run over. She's, needs some help there. No, he's with me 24 hours a day. And he's wanting to communicate with us 24 hours a day. And thus, when we study his word, he is going to reveal the truth of his word that fits us personally.